Hello, everyone. My name is Ab Van from GDI Consulting, and it is 2 o'clock, and we're going to start the webinar. This webinar is about the Air Force's Instrumentation Range Support Program, the IRSP, and today is October 31st, and we will be starting right now. If this is the first time that you're attending one of our webinars, a few administrative notes. First of all, this webinar is being recorded, and the recording will be sent to you within 24 hours. So if you drop out or need to leave early for any reasons, you can always watch the video replay later on. We are going to hold a Q&A session at the end. So if you come up with any questions during the webinar, you can just type them on the chat system to the right, and then we will get to the answers at the end. As I said, there is a chat system to the right. There's also the webinar presentation PowerPoint document that you can download to the right. There is a red button with 3 dots also on the right. Clicking on it once displays the side panel, and another time just enlarges the screen and hides that side panel. So if you want to chat, you need to click on that red button so that you can see the chat box. Also, if you disconnect for any reason, there's a similar red button with 3 dots at the top of the screen, which allows you to reconnect for the continuation of the webinar. Okay, here is the schedule for today's webinar. We're going to go very quickly about what GDI Consulting is, but then go into preliminary capture research that we've done on this bid, the opportunity overview, the scope of work for this bid, what are the proposal instructions, the evaluation criteria, some win strategy and partnering notes, and the Q&A. Okay, quickly about GDI Consulting. We've been in business over 10 years, and we've been growing steadily throughout these years. We have an 81% win rate. We are very selective as to the projects that we take on, whether it's a capture project or it's a full proposal development or other systems like Black Hat or competitive intel. We are very selective on what we go after. We have a team of around 50 proposal managers and writers and capture managers. The majority of them have over 20 years of experience on the government sphere. And 2018-2019, we've had 210 wins. We just got news 3 days ago about another large $6.4 billion win we had for one of our clients for the Air Force, training of F-16 fighter pilots. So that shows our capabilities. As I said, we cover both capture, proposal development, and consultation, including different sorts of intelligence, competitive intelligence, staff augmentation, Black Hat reviews, and so on. So these are the full services that we provide to our clients. And I'll go very quickly over them. So we go into the main subject of this webinar. And this is a list, you can later on look at it, of some of the wins we've had during these years. And it shows that we cover almost all different spheres in the government contracting, from information technology to defense, management and professional services, construction, environmental and facility maintenance. Okay, let's go into the opportunity. Let's look at the opportunity as a whole, the overview. As you can see, the title of the bid is U.S. Air Force Instrumentation Range Support Program. And some of the important dates: the draft RFP dropped on August 2019. The final RFP dropped a few days ago, 24th of October 2019. And we have until 9th of December 2019 for submission of the proposals. The award is supposed to be around May of 2020. Transition period with the incumbent, if the incumbent is not selected again, is July, December 2020. And full performance begins January 2021. So these are the important dates. Okay, so now let's look at some of the information overview of this. You can see that firms, they're trying to find out firms that are able to provide logistics sustainment support for instrumentation tracking systems in this IRSP project. Currently, the current contract is providing support for 27 agencies within DoD, Department of Energy, NASA, and 6 foreign governments. This is a recompete at the Patrick Air Force Air Base in Florida, so it's being managed from there. The contract will provide logistics sustainment support for the instrumentation tracking systems, that is radar, telemetry, and optics, for these 27 test ranges worldwide. They're providing management of government-owned stock in their contractor-furnished warehouses, stock acquisition to maintain approved depot stock levels. You must respond to requisitions for components on a routine or emergency basis, and we'll get to each of these later on. Provide in-house or vendor repair of components. There's also fabrication of components involved. There's on-site overhauls, on-call engineering field support on both, they have both routine and emergency basis. Also, you must conduct engineering investigations, perform or even recommend modifications, and you must have the ability to relocate systems, design, manufacture, install, and test subsystem upgrades if they're required. So these are the different things as a whole that are involved in this bid. Now, let's go to the prerequisites. First of all, the security clearance level required for safeguarding is secret. However, you must have a top secret facility clearance. So if your company does not have a top secret facility clearance, you cannot participate in this bid. So take that into consideration. The NAICS code is 334511 with 1,250 employees with the PSC 5840. So you must have that NAICS code in your SAM. If you have any conflict of interest, you must take care of it and provide documentation showing that you're mitigating it. Any firm that is going to participate must be US owned. This is a must. And also you must state whether you're a small or large business, and if you're a small business, indicate the type of small business that you are. Okay. Now, this is the government contact info. It's important to note, and if you've not put yourself in front of these guys, it might be a little bit late. It's really important for them to know you before you actually submit your proposal, and I'm assuming that most companies have already done that with the guys in Florida. Okay, let's go into the preliminary capture research that we've done on this. The general things about this contract is it's a hybrid, single award, indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity, IDIQ. So it's single award. It includes both cost reimbursement, cost plus fixed fee, and firm fixed price different CLINs. The CDRLs are not separately priced. NAICS code is 334511. Standard site standard is 1,250 employees. It does allow teaming opportunities. It does allow joint ventures. It does allow mentor protege programs. Okay, now let's look at the background for IRSP. It was designed, this program, around 58 years ago. So it's a very old program designed to augment participating ranges' existing sustainment requirements. And it began in 1960s. It started with 3 agencies and 15 radars. Now it's 27 agencies, and it's over 1,200 tracking systems that is covering, including telemetry and optical systems. So it has expanded quite a lot from the 60s. It was sole sourced to RCA, OEM RCA until 1985. Then it went to Vitro Services Corporation. They had first 2 competitive awards in 1985 and 1991. Then it went to Tracor in 1996, and the BAE system acquired Marconi around 2000. And ever since, BAE has been awarded the last 3 contracts. So the incumbent is BAE, and if you're not BAE, you must unseat them to get on this contract. So it might be hard, and you really need to focus and work hard to actually get past BAE. Now, and for BAE to actually keep on the contract, they need to also be very competitive. So let's look at the primary program purposes. It's to ensure availability of unique serviceable components and subsystems for instrumentation tracking systems. Also supplies and special maintenance capabilities to meet the needs of the ranges worldwide. It is to provide logistics and engineering support, including system overhauls and modifications. The ranges use the program to augment their current maintenance or obsolescence management system issues. It means that the contract is not a mandatory source for these ranges. They might actually find other ways of doing their job. And it is to maximize operational availability and at the same time minimize the cost to the government. And of course, extend the useful operational life of the systems in the program. So these are the primary purposes of this project. Who are the current participants? Okay, it's the Air Force, the Navy, Department of Energy, NASA, and then 6 foreign governments. That's UK, Germany, Korea, Norway, Sweden, and Switzerland. So these are the 6 companies, countries that are also involved in this. So in summary, the IRSP supports 27 ranges worldwide, covering DoD, DOE, NASA, and 6 foreign governments. The IRSP is a critical element for participating ranges' successful sustainment of their range instrumentation tracking system. So they're very sensitive about it. It's a very important program, and you can see from the fact that it's 58 years old, that they are after it very much. The depots house about 1.4 million line items. So consider that. And the IRSP currently supports over 1,200 instrumentation tracking systems. So that's the summary of the findings. Okay, let's take a look at a little bit, dive into the scope of work. The IRSP contract provides serviceable components and subsystems for the ITS, the instrumentation tracking systems, for both foreign and domestic government agencies. That includes radars, telemetry, optical range mission systems, flight termination systems, data acquisition systems, and global positioning systems, GPS. So from now on, wherever we say ITS, we mean all of this: the radar, telemetry, optical, FTS, DAS, and GPS. So when we say ITS, we are covering all of these. Okay, so the scope areas, as you can see, are these: program management, inventory management, obsolescence, remanufacturing, and fabrication. We'll get to these. Phasing in and out, contractor support of technical interchange meetings, material acquisition, and again, remanufacture and fabrication, engineering field support and technical studies, pre-overhaul and overhaul, system modifications, travel and transportation is obviously included, CDRLs, data, financial reporting, and information management. So these are all the scope of this. Now let's look at what is a depot support. As you can see, it covers management and government-owned stock, responsible for maintaining government-owned property. Currently, there are about 1.4 million individual stock items. This consumes around 300,000 cubic feet of storage space, so it's a huge one. It must maintain and stock government-owned vans. It must maintain a complement of material in vans to support planned overhauls. So these vans must be ready at all times. Must arrange for transportation of the van to the overhaul site. So all of these are responsibilities of depot support. Now, the work description for this is you need to fill routine and emergency requisitions. So what are these? Routine requisitions are any quantity up to $35,000. That's annually, that they have approximately 330 to 350 of these annually. Now, if it's greater than $35,000, it's considered high cost requisition. And they have approximately 200 to 220 of these annually. So routine acquisitions usually must be filled within 5 work days if they have, if the material is in stock. But emergency requisitions, they must be filled within 24 hours if you have them in stock. So that's the difference between routine and emergency. Okay, now you have transportation, marking, packing, and crating. That's also part of the work. Need to arrange commercial transportation of government-owned material. For foreign military sales customers, shipping is handled through their or the government's designated freight forwarders. Must assign and register the UIIs, the unique item identifier, for the IRSP items in their possession. So that you have to take care of that. Stock level and replenishments, all of that is included. Resupply depot items to the appropriate stock levels for range acquisition. So that's part of the work as well. Okay, continuing on. You have component manufacture and fabrication. This means restoring the item to like new and ensuring it's serviceable. This is, of course, done when it's more advantageous to the government to do it, or for those items that can't be remanufactured in-house. The government's estimate, if it's estimated that the cost exceeds 75% of replacing it, then the defective components shall not be remanufactured unless approved by range. So in other words, if it costs 85 or 90% of buying a new one, you're not supposed to do it. Routine component remanufacturing is any quantity up to $35,000. They do that around 175 to 260 of these annually. For component remanufacturing that are greater than $35,000, this is considered a high-cost repair, and they do these types of high-cost repairs 4 to 15 times annually. Now, in terms of that was remanufacturing, and now let's go to fabrication. Fabrication of the obsolete items which are not available from other sources. In other words, you can't get them from others. And when it's deemed more advantageous to the government, that is the only time that they do actually do the fabrication. Now, routine fabrication actions is anything that is less than $35,000. They do that 1 to 5 times annually, approximately. If it costs more than $35,000, it's considered high cost fabrication. And again, they have 1 to 5 times that annually doing that. Okay, now one of the other scope items was engineering, technical, and field support. Let's see what each of these mean. In terms of engineering support, this is requested in the form of man weeks. If it's a U.S. range, it's 56 labor hour week, which includes also travel, plus travel. For foreign military sale ranges, it's 72 labor hour weeks. So there's a little bit of a difference in terms of hours. So, and they have approximately 500 to 900 man weeks annually on this. In terms of technical investigations, must perform these technical studies and investigations. The purpose is to resolve problems associated with the systems that they have. And they do 1 to 3 investigations annually. For field support, this includes labor, material, equipment, or special projects, and they have 2 to 4 field support actions annually. Now, if they have obsolescence engineering, this is under technical support, you must investigate, evaluate, develop, and replace obsolete or non-obtainable parts, or recommend engineering changes. So that's what you're supposed to do under obsolescence engineering. For technical investigations, this is conducted when it's determined that it's necessary. The determination is done by the program office, or the contracting officer will tell you. And they do this kind of thing between 1 to 3 times annually, technical investigations. Okay, let's move on. Field overhauls. Okay, so field overhauls, that's one of the parts of the scope of this project in all those 27 different areas. They're done on site, obviously. ONH is based on range mission needs. So, and this is approximately 4 to 6 times annually. It includes system modifications, also designing, fabricating, installing, and testing these modifications to various ITS based on the requirements of each range. And they do this 3 to 8 times annually. There are other work also required, like program status. You're supposed to provide an interactive web page showing where you stand, what's the status of the programs. It must be available to all ranges and program offices. And there are other, as you can see, we've listed some of the other work that is required. Okay, let's move on. Let's look at the proposal now, the proposal overview, as we call it. Okay, so this acquisition will be a source selection comprised of technical, past performance, small business participation, and cost price evaluations. So all those 4 factors. The cost price volume will be submitted in 2 parts. This is for the evaluation. So there are 2 separately submitted cost price proposals. The preliminary cost price proposal will require submission of limited cost and price data to assist in the competitive range determination. So that's the first one. And then the updated cost price proposal will be submitted concurrently with the responses to initiate to the initial evaluation notice. So that you will provide a second, more complete cost price proposal, and they're going to evaluate that to make the best value determination. Here's a list of the different volumes that are involved. As you can see, there are 5 volumes involved. Volume 1 is technical capability risk proposal. Volume 2 is small business participation. Volume 3 is past performance. Volume 4 is preliminary cost price proposal. And then Volume 5 is administrative documents. And we've listed the page counts, how many copies you need to provide, and how you're supposed to provide it. As you can see, this is a fairly elaborate proposal, about 60 pages for the technical, and the past performance is 25 pages. So it is a fairly extensive proposal that needs to be worked on. Okay, and the section outlines we've listed. The most important part is obviously Volume 1, Factor 1, which is considered Factor 1. The technical capability or the risk proposal is 60 pages. It has 2 sub-factors. Program management is sub-factor 1, and supply requirements is sub-factor 2. And we've outlined what is required under sub-factor 1, workforce management, phase in, phase out, and program execution, which is the cost, schedule, performance bits. Now, the sub-factor 2, the supply requirements, is divided between material acquisition, field overhauls, system modifications, test and specialized equipment, and component remanufacturing and fabrication. Volume 2, Factor 2 is small business participation, no page limit. Volume 3, Factor 3, past performance, has a 25-page limit. And Volume 4 or Factor 4, cost price. Okay, move on. Let's go into the evaluation criteria. Okay, this is a trade-off process for this acquisition. The government will select the best overall offer based on an assessment of the technical capability, technical risk, small business participation, past performance, and cost price. But if you add up all the non-cost price factors, they are equal or approximately equal, as they word it, to the cost price part. So this is an important factor that all those who are competing with BAE should consider. They have changed their evaluation a little bit in that they are considering cost equal to the technical, so to say. In other words, if you're weaker in technical, perhaps you can compensate for that on your price. So this is an important, very important factor for all those who are trying to unseat BAE. And of course, BAE, as always is the case with incumbents, they know, because they have performed the project for many years, they know all the ins and outs of this, and so they know the cost, the real cost involved. And they have a hard time actually reducing their cost from what it is. So that's where that competitive edge might come in for other companies who don't have the full picture as BAE does, and actually underbid BAE, not even trying to underbid it, but actually not knowing the full implications of the performance of the project, and thus not considering all the costs. And thus, that is an important factor that all companies must consider in their strategy. The government has given this opportunity. So if a company in terms of technical capabilities is even not on par with BAE or in the incumbent, but their price is much more competitive, they have a good chance of winning. And this is something that all companies involved, including BAE, must be aware of and consider. Okay, moving on. So these are the evaluation factors. As you can see, factor 1, technical capability risk sub-factor. It has 3 parts: program management subfactor, supply requirement subfactor, and specialized expertise. And then you have small business participation, past performance, and cost. So they're going to consider that. But as I said, technical, obviously small business participation, past performance have less value than factor 1, but all these three added together are equal to cost price. So factors 1, 2, 3 are equal to factor 4 in terms of importance. And they're going to go by a color scheme in terms of rating. So that's the usual that is in most competitive bids. I've put it in just for your information. A few points on the win strategy and partnering. Let's start with partnering. First of all, benefits of partnering. You can create a strong team that gives the Air Force the confidence that you do have the ability to perform. Obviously, performing all those items in the scope of work might not be the capability of one company, but even very large companies, but having multiple companies involved in as subcontractors and as teaming partners will give the Air Force the confidence that you do have the ability to perform. So that is an important thing. It also strengthens your past performance. So if you have any gaps in your past performance, perhaps projects used by your subs can fill in those gaps. And as I said, the capability in the statement of work areas, and since this is a best value opportunity, you really want to make a strong case with the Air Force using your partners, using your subs. And how we can help, we can, for primes, if they're looking for partners, if they have gaps, you can let us know. And for subs, if you're looking to participate in this and would like to be part of a team, you let us know too. And we will put hands in hand if there are enough subs and primes who are interested to participate. We will just introduce you to each other. So after this webinar is over, you can email me or anyone on the GDIC team, and let us know if you're looking for a partner or would like to be a partner in a team. Some winning suggestions. First of all, you need to do a gap analysis on your experience and small business requirements. Understand your company's capabilities and try to match them up to the requirements of this solicitation. Based on that gap analysis, you need to decide on your partnering strategy. You need to build a team, and I'm assuming that most companies have already done this. It might be a repeat of what I'm saying. I mean, in other words, you might have done this, but I think I should explain it. You can create a team that covers all the scope requirements. The government is going to see that the team that you're presenting does have the capability to perform all the scopes. And this is a very complex project because it's done in 27 different locations and a lot of different scope requirements. Concentrate on mapping the past performance. So don't wait until the last minute to put together your citations or let your customers know that this is a question coming, that there is a questioner coming. So you really need to concentrate on mapping the past performance to the requirements of the RFP. Do some research on labor categories and labor rates. You need to sharpen your pencils. Obviously, as I explained, price is equal to everything else. So sharpening your pencils is really important. We also mentioned do incumbent personnel research. That can help you in terms of pricing and other factors. Start early. Do not wait for the RFP to be released, and it is already released. We prepared this before the RFP was released. So you shouldn't wait. I'm assuming that most companies have already started, and you should be If you've done your homework well, you should be in the pseudo red stage now. That's the usual way of doing it. Work on it. So when the RFP drops, you are in the pseudo red stage and you just get to the red. So if you're not there, you're behind, you should run for it. Sometimes make it easier and increase your PWin. And to do that, we're suggesting that you bring in a team or hire a consultant. Right now, it's obviously not the time to start the proposal, but if you want to win this, you really need to have multiple eyes reviewing your proposal. So our suggestion to our clients is that you need to get this done, first of all, soon. Be prepared for changes, but at the same time, you need to get it reviewed outside your proposal sphere to have multiple eyes on it. And when I say reviewed, I mean in two ways. One, by capable proposal managers who will review it in terms of compliance and the breadth and conciseness, and also by what we call agency SMEs. Agency SMEs are retired contracting officers or program managers from agencies like the Air Force that we bring on usually to our review teams. They have worked at that particular office, and but they have moved on now, so there's no conflict of interest, and they can also review it. I'm not talking about generals. I'm talking about actual evaluators and actual people who have hands-on experience. And that is really important. So review should be done in two ways. Content-wise by these guys, as we call them, agencies SMEs, and also proposal-wise and requirement-wise by capable proposal managers. So by that, we come towards the end of the webinar. Just wanted to provide some of the emails and phone numbers in case you want to contact us, either for providing review support, or if you have any technical questions. I will be available for technical questions, and if you want support as far as you want an offer for proposal review, or if you need black hat reviews, because that is an important part of this as well, and competitive intelligence, contact either Mark Howard, or Maroon Freedy, and we've put their contact information here. Okay, so with that, we come to the end of the webinar. If there are any questions, I would be glad to answer any questions that you might have. Okay, I see that there's a question requesting that we specify the dates again. It is actually in the slide, so if you download it, you can review it. But essentially, the RFP, the full RFP dropped on the 24th of October. The proposal is currently due on December 9th. There might be some Q&As or delays, so it might be extended, but so far it's 9th of December, and it is expected that the contract award will be in May. There is going to be a transition period if BA is not awarded again. If they are awarded, there's no transition, but if they're not awarded and another contractor wants to take their place, between July and December 2020, that transition must take place so that the new contractor should start performing 1st of January 2021. So that's the major date that is there. Another question is with regards to subcontracting. Yes, if you provide your information to us, we can introduce you to primes. Let me see another question. Okay, there is a question with regards to, can two large companies form a partnership? Yes, you can either one can become sub to the other, or you can create a joint venture. Obviously, a joint venture is too late now, but if you want to strengthen your team, you can bring in the other large company under you, and you have about 40 days to do that. So that probably will be is doable. Okay, another question is, can you have the solicitation available on your website? Yes, we will set it up on the website, but you can also do a search on the FBO website and download the solicitation there as well. If you go to slide number 8, or actually slide number 1 as well, the solicitation number is there, so you just do a search and you can find it, but we'll put it up on our website as well, so you can actually download that, as well as this webinar. And as I said, this webinar will be is recorded, so it will be sent to you tomorrow within 24 hours. Okay, I think we are done with the questions. I would like to thank everyone for participating in this webinar, and we look forward to having you in our future webinars as well. Thank you and have a great day.